my name is Michael Dray and I am the Joint Artistic Director of Whitehorse Theatre. I've been working here now well, I first started working in 1989, so that's 29 years, isn't it? And I've been associated in a full-time capacity since 1997, so in fact I'm celebrating my 21st year at Whitehorse Theatre. And in that time, of course, I've seen many changes, and the company's got bigger, we've expanded, we're travelling to many more different countries, including France, Sweden, where we're hoping to go back to this year, and we also perform in the Far East, in Japan and China. And it's particularly exciting this year because it's the 40th anniversary of the company. The company was founded by Peter Griffith in 1978, and he's going to be interviewed, so he will tell you a bit more, I'm sure, about the founding of the company in Somerset in England. And then round about the mid-80s, Peter came over to Germany and he settled here with his family, and he continued then obviously with Whitehorse Theatre, which started in a very small way. I think it had started around about 1985, and I knew Peter already because we had in fact worked together as actors in a production of Romeo and Juliet, where I played Romeo and Peter was Benvolio, and we also did the music for the show, which was very lovely. And we just stayed in contact, and then when Peter was looking for somebody to come and help him direct shows, he contacted me, and as I said earlier, I came here in 1989. I auditioned new actors in 1989, and in fact came here in January 1990 to start rehearsing. And in those days, there were companies of 3 actors. So we had 3 companies of 3 actors. We had one touring in the north of Germany, one in the middle of Germany, and one in the south of Germany. And over the last 21 years, that has now expanded to 9 companies, covering, well, obviously the whole of Germany still, and the other countries I mentioned, but these companies all now have 4 actors. So it's expanded quite a lot since the original days. And during that time, we introduced designers into the company, because when I first started, we did everything. We built our own sets, we made our own props, we made our own costumes as well. And I can always remember we would be rehearsing during the day, and then in the evening we'd go back to our accommodation, and we would be sitting in this big circle, having had supper, and we'd be sitting there, and somebody would be, I don't know, sewing a feather on a hat, and somebody would be making something out of papier-mâché or sewing a button onto a dress, and we literally created the shows ourselves. And then as the years have gone on, of course, more and more things have been introduced. We have designers now, we have a full wardrobe team, set construction team, prop making team, people who make all the soft furnishings for the set deco. I mean, it's become really a very big organisation. But still, I like to think with that sort of personal touch, where we're still, all very much in collaborating with each other. I'm a great believer in theatre being a collaboration. Everybody makes their contribution. It's about, as I say, the person who sews the button on to the person who, I don't know, plays the leading part in the show. I mean, it's immaterial. We're all part of that collaboration, and it's like a big family. And I think that's what, to me, one of the most important things about theatre over the years. And I mean, obviously I love the creativity. The creative side is really important. But for me, it is the community of theatre people. There's something about theatre, and it is, I think it's perhaps more so in theatre than any other artistic field. I mean, I don't know, I don't work in an orchestra or on a film set, but I do believe from the things I hear other people say that the theatrical family is kind of, a very caring, thriving, concerned group of people. And as I say, born, I think, out of that. There's so many different disciplines coming together to put on a piece of theatre. One of the things that I find for me the most rewarding and exciting things about Whitehorse, and it's funny enough, it's something I was only thinking about yesterday or the day before, but literally in the last few days, was that I love this idea of working with young actors who are not necessarily have a lot of experience. Often they've come straight from drama school, or they've been out of drama school 2 or 3 years, still trying to get a foot on the ladder to gain more experience. And they come here on contracts running between 6 and 11 months. They have an opportunity to do 3 very, very different shows. I mean, they may do a children's show, fun show, fairy tale, something of that nature. They'll then do perhaps a play dealing with teenage topics, or topics that involve teenage life, problem issues, whatever, that sort of thing, and then a classical play. So it could be Shakespeare, it could be Oscar Wilde. We've got Jane Eyre this year, which is an adaptation of the novel by Charlotte Bronte. So they're working on a classical text. And so they've got that variety. And this kind of theatre, for them at any rate, is a theatre that is very rare to find nowadays, because in the old days, and I'm talking about when I was a young man 40 years ago, there was rep. It was called repertory theatre, and a young actor could come out of drama school, go into a repertory theatre, which were up and down the country in the United Kingdom, and they could play a variety of plays over the course of a season, and they would literally build their way up from walking on perhaps just a few lines to maybe, if they were good enough, to playing leading roles. So it was a great training ground, and I think that's what Whitehorse offers. I mean, obviously the actors who come to us are trained, they've been to drama school, but they've never actually necessarily worked in a professional theatre context. So for them to be able to hone their craft and to take it out on the road and play it again and again and again and again, having to deal with very, very different venues, anything from a beautiful, fully equipped theatre to an entrance hall in a school. It's an experience, as I say, you take with you then for the rest of your life, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity for young actors to have. So I think this is probably, again, why I love it, because, I like to think I've got something to pass on, and I think at the end of the day that's all we do. We have to pass it on, don't we, because we're not always going to be here. So, and it's lovely to give that sense of that you've helped people to learn how to work their craft and their art, and to take that on with them. And of course, on the other side of that, of course, and very important, the most important, of course, is the audience. And we perform in front of thousands and thousands of school children every year. And I like to just think that somebody in the audience, it may not be the whole audience, it may just be 1 or 2, it may not even be 1, but over the course of a season, you've taken these shows in, and there are children there or young people going away, and you kind of touched on their lives in some way. You made them think about something in a different way, look at something in a different way. And, even now, as a getting old man, I can look back and I can remember the influences on my life. When I was a young boy we used to have Saturday morning theatre, and it was at the local theatre company in the town where we lived. And sitting there and watching the curtain go up, and the actors and doing these plays. And of course, when I was how old? 5, 6, 7. It's just a little memory now, a little tiny little picture in my mind, but it's there. And then, of course, as I got older, plays that I still remember extremely well, and how they influence me in the way I feel about things. And it's just wonderful, really. And it's not everybody who's going to come and see our shows is going to go and be an actor or a director or necessarily do any work in the theatre at all. But how wonderful to have had that experience of seeing something like that. And of course, particularly for us working here in Europe, in schools in Germany and France and Sweden, and then over in the Far East, in Asia, Japan and China. Children hearing English spoken by native speakers, because that's what we pride ourselves on, that we in fact, all the actors who come and work with us are native English speakers. So, hopefully you learn a little bit by watching and listening to one of our plays, but even if you don't do that, hopefully you're enthused to go and carry on with your learning and enjoy the learning process from having seen it in front of you, heard it, done, as I say, in a professional way, and hearing the native voices. And that's a fantastic exposure to a language, to see it living through something in a creative way like theatre. So it's very satisfying, I think, on many, many different levels, and far more exciting, for me anyway, than sometimes, we as adults, sophisticated, a bit blasé perhaps, we go to the theatre because we feel we should go to the theatre, and we see a play and we watch and we think, yeah, okay, that was all right, and then walk away, and it's made no impact on us whatsoever. That's not to say all theatres like that at all, of course. I go to the theatre and I come away terribly excited, but I do think sometimes adult audiences go and it's all very, it's come on then, entertain me, stimulate me. Kids don't come to theatre like that. They're just there and they receive it. And sometimes they don't always behave brilliantly, but so what? What you're getting is a truthful reaction and an honest reaction, truthful, honest reaction to what you've done. And what can be better than that, really?